Hey, Uniquely Cindy here. I am in the Sandy Cross community in North Carolina. I'm at the Sandy Cross Methodist Church. It was established in 1854. And I come out here today for they have a graveyard here that has an interesting lady buried here that I'm going to talk to y'all about a little bit. But it's a nice little graveyard, so I thought I'd come and share some of it with you. It's a beautiful little church here in this community. A lovely pond back here. And we're coming around the corner of the church, and as we come around the corner of the church, you'll be able to see the graveyard. Now, if you remember several videos back, I told you that if it's buried on church land, it's considered a graveyard, for the graveyards were endorsed and considered sacred ground for people to be buried on. In communities, when they're buried, like in a city plot, it's called a cemetery. But this is a beautiful little church. It's actually quite a big church here. That's the new sanctuary. Then back here is a fellowship hall. I came up here a couple of summers ago to a community yard sale they were having here. And the old church, I believe, is on the other side of this building here. Their chapel now. But here's the graveyard. There's quite a few old graves in here. Like I said, the church was established in 1854, and we're going to just walk through a few and look at a few of the graves, and then I'm going to take you to this woman that I wanted to share with y'all. Here we have V.D. Lindsay, 1875-1942, at rest. Now there are several graves here that are handwritten in slabs of stone. It says S.D. Lindsay, died April 1922, age 23. Long remembered. And the handwritten stones, all the wording is kind of just run together, so sometimes they're hard to read. And here is another one. It says Martha Lindsay, died in June 1921, age 77. And here's another hand scribed. Mrs. W.A. Dosher, died July, the J is backwards there. Looks like 1980. It's kind of hard to read, but it looks like 1980. The 21st of July, 1980. Or it could be 1930. Hard to read there. Lots of acorns on the ground. Here we have a W.A. Dozier, born in 1855, died in 1918. Here we have a child's grave. The lamb being symbolic of innocence and children. J.F. Stokes Jr., 1918, 1926. And here we have just marked infant. Another child. 1850, 1917, Langley. 1852, 1923. So as you can see, we've got a lot of the older graves out here. Jeanette, daughter of D. and Mabel Langley, 1932, 1932, just a small child, a baby. And this is a 1-year-old, Rockabye Baby in the Treetop. John Devon, son of D. and Mabel Langley, 1920, 1921. the mortality rate on children's just was astronomically high. It's a pretty memorial there. Look at the scroll work on that. Very pretty. Got a flower urn right in the middle there. That's Rick's. We're going to step over here. Here's one with a picture. Roy Lee Smith, 1922, 1942, just 20 years old. When I get through with my singing and lay my guitar by my side, for I want to play in heaven where I go. Oh, okay. When I get through with my singing, lay my guitar by my side, for I want to play in heaven when I go. What a beautiful sentiment. Just a young guy. And here we have a Luana, wife of W.T. Langley, 1916, passed away at the age of 48 years old. Honored and beloved and wept. Here mother lies. Here we have Jenny, daughter of W.T. and Luana Langley, born in 1889, passed away in 1999, gone but not forgotten. A lot of young youth out here. Milbury, wife of German D. Langley, different name, 1824-1906, honored, beloved, and wept, here mother lies. And then we have German Langley, 1816, 1902. I'm going to walk up here. There was some more up here, the older ones, and then we're going to go visit a special grave. Here we have some field markers. What I am discovering in a lot of these really old cemeteries is they use slab stones sometimes, field stones. And here we have a field stone that was used to mark a grave. There's nothing, well, there was something written on it, but it's very faded out and you can't hardly tell it. And then here are some more field stones marking graves. And here we have one handwritten, and it says Cockle, 1885-1938, at rest. Here we have a marker, but I don't see any wording. It's an arrow pointing upward. And here we have Julie Ann, wife of John Pridgeon, born in 1845, died in 1893. She is not dead, but sleeps. Here we have children's graves, 1908, 1901 passed away, 1898, 2 years old. And here's some more children. These are all 2 years old or younger. I just can't imagine. We're going to walk over here. mother and father. This is the Langleys. Julia Langley, 1846, 1908. And then we have J.E. Langley, October 1845, and passed away in 1901. And then we have Etta Langley Joyner, 1874, 1908. And here we have the Confederate States of America Iron Cross. Back here we have a family plot. Then we're going to come over here and I want to show you this grave right here. Now these are, once again, these are tomb graves, and what these are, they're actually buried in the ground, but then the cement slabs and all were laid on top of them, and the theory of protecting them from predators and, at a time in our history, grave robbers. Here we have the grasping hands, 1871, 1911. Beautiful little cemetery here, or graveyard. Now we're going to go back here to a grave that I wanted to show you about. Here we have some more old graves, but for the sake of time, we're going to go on to the one I came out here for. Infant son. You'll see another slab grave back here that had a cement covering on top of it. Here we have another CSA grave. Now the grave I'm going to take you to, I found out here, it's been about a month ago now, and it was so cold that day I couldn't film, so I went and I did some research on her. And we are going to be visiting Miss Victoria Bone Pittman Stallings. She was born in 1883 and she passed away in 1986. Miss Stallings was married to her second husband, who was Cyrus Stallings. He was a private in the Infantry Army, the 70th North Carolina Regiment, and she was the last North Carolina Confederate widow, and her husband had received a hip wound during one of the battles, and he was retired from the military. She and he met in 1914 and were married in 1914, and he passed away, I believe it was in 1929, and when he passed away, she started receiving a a military pension for her husband's service in the military. When she passed away in 1986, she was the last surviving Confederate widow in the state of North Carolina, and North Carolina closed its books on the Confederate pension program. So Miss Victoria, bless you, her mom and her lived together for a while after her husband passed away. Her husband and she farmed outside of Spring Hope. I'm hoping if the farm is still there, to be able to take some pictures over there later on. But I thought this was very interesting. There's a few documented widows of the Confederate Army that have, I believe they've all now passed away. But Miss Victoria passed away in 1986, and I thought this would be something that you would enjoy. Her grave, a little hard to see because of the iron grating here, but it says Victoria Bone Pittman Stallings was the last Confederate widow of North Carolina, born November the 2nd, 1883, died June the 28th, 1986, and at rest with Jesus. Now, when I first saw Miss Victoria's grave and I read the writing on it, I said, I'm not going to video this until I do some research because of the fact of her date of birth. And I'm going, there's no way, because she was born after the Civil War. But it didn't register at the time that she married a veteran of the Civil War. And so her husband, once again, and her were married in 1914. He was a veteran, and because they were married, the time frame prescribed by law, she was able to draw a pension. When she passed away, her pension was $74 and some change a month, and I thought that was just very interesting. So I hope you enjoyed it, visiting with Miss Victoria and the last Confederate widow of North Carolina. Here we have a Woodman of the World monument. I like the way they do theirs. Most Woodmen of the Worlds have the log on it somewhere, the stump, and you can see the log work around here. But this is J.T. Pittman. He was born in 1875 and he died in 1915. He was a noble Christian. Now, I do not know, but I kind of wonder if that was Miss Victoria's first husband. I'll have to do some research on that. So, thank y'all for letting me visit. Beautiful little graveyard here. If you're in the area, stop by and see it. It's in the Sandy Cross community here in North Carolina. This is Uniquely Cindy. Yes, sharing another unique experience. Like and subscribe below. Hit that notification bell and you'll know every time I upload a video. And if you have any suggestions, any comments, link them below. And hey, you have a unique day. Bye.